A few kilometres to the east of one of South Africa's richest areas, Sandton, exists an apartheid fashion place which, in material terms, is one of the most impoverished. Poor it may be, but Alexandra's spirit is vital and robust. Alex, as it is commonly known, has endured a turbulent history. The original owner of the land, a Mr. Papenfuss, wanted to establish a residential township for whites, but the land was too far from the commercial centre. In 1912, Alexandra was proclaimed as a native township, and land parcels were sold to blacks. It was named after Papenfuss, and was on the long, sloping west bank of the Yukskay River. The Land Act of 1913 restricted the ownership of land by blacks in urban areas. Because the township was proclaimed a year before the Land Act came into being, Alex was one of the very few urban areas in South Africa where blacks could own land. In the 1960s, the apartheid government decided to replace all family accommodation in Alex with single-sex hostels for migrant workers as a way of limiting the number of permanent black families in Johannesburg. As a result of protests, only 2 hostels were completed. Meanwhile, more and more people were moving into Alex, and more informal shelters were being erected, creating confusion about land ownership and putting strain on the inadequate infrastructure. It was in 1982, 70 years after being established, that Alex was officially recognized as a permanent black residential area, not just a place for migrant workers. Finally, in 2000, the Alexandra Renewal Project saw the start of upgrading of infrastructure and the building of homes on the East Bank. Note that Alex had started out as 1 square mile, and that the East Bank on the eastern side of the Yukskay River, next to the motorway, had not previously been formally developed. In line with apartheid policies, Alex had been kept contained and isolated from the surrounding areas by the roads and the industrial areas. Today, the township, estimated home to more than 500,000 people, although poor and run down in many parts, is slowly being redeveloped with improved infrastructure and new housing. The 2 single-sex hostels have been converted into family accommodation. Retail and other facilities have been built, and transport links continue to be improved, breaking down the apartheid-era isolation of Alex. No visit to Sandton is complete without witnessing the Alex reality. Faced with signs of widespread poverty and unemployment, in stark contrast to Sandton, you cannot ignore the results of many years of willful political repression. Alex today provides the visitor with a living history lesson and a clear vision of a more hopeful future. From the thronged Pan-Africa Mall to the new housing developments on the East Bank, you will enjoy the signs of a vitality that was never vanquished.